All right, welcome everyone. I'm super excited for this first workshop in our global track. I think probably everyone knows Tana Elizondo, past governor and current chair of the SIA Fundraising Council, who's going to lead tonight's workshop. So take it away.
Well, thank you, and welcome everyone. And I want to start off with an appreciation of sharing your time with the Sierra Pacific Leadership Academy. I know we're all busy, and I think the messaging that we're going to hear is very valuable to you and to our region. So let's get started. Oop. Oh no, I already messed up, ladies.
Forgiven.
Previous. Okay, so tonight's topic is one of 6 presentations that we're going to see in this global track, and tonight's is empowering women in a changing world. So let's get started. The Seroptimus mission, I believe, says it all. As an organization and members, we strive to provide women and girls with access to education and training. They need to achieve economic empowerment. Hence, the way to empower women is through an education. So how easy is that? But there's much more to it, correct? If it was only that easy, I don't think many would question that with an education, another level of independence is gained. Women are economically empowered when they have control over their own finances and well-being. And when they have a voice in their decisions, it will allow them to shape their lives and their lives of their families. When women and girls are empowered, they have a sense of autonomy, self-confidence, and power to control their public and private lives. We strive to access an education because we believe that it is the most effective way toward empowerment. Things to consider, and we'll come back to this, is how do they gain their independence in society today? As club members, how do we evolve with the changes that impact the women and girls that we serve? As things evolve in our communities, as all of our communities differ, how do our clubs become adaptive and implement the changes that impact our roles? Just like the iceberg, there is much more under the surface than the eye can see. So for now, what can we say that some of these issues are for our clubs? What keeps us from either adapting, doing more, from participating in more Dream It Be It programs, or for increasing our Live Your Dream awards? What do you think some of those issues might be that hold you or your club back? I have any takers?
One of my club's issues is frankly the aging of our membership. I don't think we'd even make the average 65 anymore. It's much higher than that. And I think that perhaps is an impetus to sit home, prefer Zoom to going out. I think it's an image that isn't necessarily attractive to younger women who we might want to recruit as members. So we're struggling with that right now.
Thank you, Pat.
I think there's still this issue, always has been, of women play so many different roles. And, you know, Seroptimus is one more thing on top of, especially younger women that are new in their careers, who tend to maybe work a lot more because that's how you get ahead as a female, is you work, 70 hours a week, and then you have other responsibilities. I think it's also just the juggling of so many different things.
So how do you juggle it at all?
Yeah.
Any others?
I was just going to say that for Dibby, it's hard to get into the schools for my county anyway. And but we have had a very successful mentoring program with the girls that we give scholarships to from high school going to college, and they're interested. We brought up, would you work on Dibby with us, because those are the young women that these girls in the secondary schools want to see, and they've gone through college, they have successfully graduated, and they're working. All our graduates, I think all of our graduates, Judy, have jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting jobs. So, and one of them turns out is she's working on some sort of a program to help people with resumes and stuff to go to college, right? So, and we might have an in this year.
Good. And in some of my correspondence that I have with the other regions that I work with, subjects like this will come up, and it's, like Pat had said, aging membership or low membership because of the aging population, challenges in raising money, again, because of maybe a smaller capacity of membership, resources, how do you get into schools, how do you make that way into them, lack in manpower, lack of interest was another one, new programs are overwhelming, and it's just something that we need to adapt, evolve, and shift with our changes to as well. In keeping in step with our dream programs, they also provide a way of independence, and that's our goal. However, the word independence can take on many definitions. For some, it could be a financial freedom, purchasing a home or a car, owning and running your own business. For some, it is strictly just self-confidence, the ability to exercise a vote or equality in the workforce. It can be a choice in their religion, their faith, or acceptance in one's own culture. Having influence equates to having a voice. The roadmap is very different across the world. It can include one's ethnicity, perhaps age or socioeconomic background or affluence. In some countries, this is still a challenge. We like to think that we're progressive in the Americas. However, don't forget there was a time that women could not own property solely without a man's name on the deed, or vote, 1920. Or open a bank account in her own name without her husband's signature. And that wasn't until 1974. We should be aware that not everyone we encounter is like you or like me or like us. Just like the iceberg, what is being hidden underneath the surface is something we need to continually challenge ourselves with. I think we all agree that our dream programs for women and girls benefit our programs. It provides a means to a solution to empower themselves and improve their well-being, and not just temporarily. We provide them tools for a change. However, if they lack confidence, knowledge, or someone to advocate for them, they can easily give up. They can become doubtful, they can question their self-worth, and they then stop believing in their own dreams. How many of us on the call tonight can say that they have someone in their corner that's your cheerleader and they keep motivating you? Well, they need theirs too. So a bit more group discussion. What I'd like for us to discuss now is how do we as members, as club, and as women assist and prepare women and girls with the ability to rise above their circumstances, to gain independence, to create confidence. What are some of the things that you see in your role in working with women and girls? And how does your club foster success, growth, and independence? I know I have a lot of questions out there, so if you need me to repeat it, I will. So who would like to start first? What is your club doing that is on mark, that is meeting the mission, that is identifying with independence, with empowerment and education.
Let me, if I may, share with you what we've been doing for Dream It Be It. Because I think our program, we're really excited. This year, we're going to do yet a second opportunity for the program. We've partnered with Girls Inc.
Mhm.
That's a phenomenal girls organization, both in Monterey and Santa Cruz County. It's actually Girls Inc. of the Central Coast. So our Dream It Be It program has traditionally been during the summer in partnership with Girls Inc. during their summer choices or smart choices day camp. And we go up to UCSC and actually spend one day during their camp with the Dream It Be It program. Unfortunately, because it's during the week, a lot of our younger members, or even any of our members, Keisha Broder and I were the only two Seroptimists actually there this year. So we have suggested to Girls Inc. that we might want to do one on a Saturday where more of our gals can come. Girls Inc. is just starting to move into both the Watsonville High School and another second high school in Watsonville. They're excited about this possibility because as they begin their program, they said this is kind of going to be the carrot. And we're looking at a spring day event. So I'm really excited about that. And the reason I particularly enjoy the Dream It Be It program is because I've seen an evolution with the girls. I think our first Dream It Be It, most of the girls, their only goal was to get married and have a family. And they're saying this at 16 or 17, not knowing that, what are the odds of divorce? What are the odds of, financial hardships and what they're going to do and how would they support their families, et cetera. To young girls walking up to me and saying, do you have a picture of being a photographer? Do you have a picture of being a veterinarian? I have seen such an evolution and growth, and I can't say it's just from Dream It Be It, but more likely with Girls Inc. But that partnership with Girls Inc. gets us into the schools. They do, frankly, all of the registration work, and we just get to be a wonderful part of their program and bring in Seroptimus Dream It Be It program. And I'm really excited about this program.
That works. I'm glad you've been able to modify something that is still going to benefit both our criteria, your community, and a substantial partner. Is anybody else?
I was just going to add on to Pat. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I heard this somewhere along the way. One of the really neat things about Girls Inc. is that the longer the girls are in the program, the older girls become mentors for the younger girls.
Yes.
So they're also starting, even at a very young age, teaching and starting to have them give back and be mentors, which I think is just a really nice extra element that they do.
Definitely.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have Girls Inc. up here in San Francisco, but we do mentor, as I mentioned before, our scholarship girls. And before we started, some of them, because they're dying to get away from home to go to college, and they go away and they have no support anymore, even if it was negative support from their family or their friends or something. And some of them started failing, and they were making a 2.75 GPA and stuff. But our mentoring, we get together with them during the breaks and the holidays, take them to lunch or take them to dinner. A bunch of us are there, and they're pretty impressed with the professions that the Seroptimists have, even though we are older. As Pat pointed out, we're all aging. And they do want to be just like us. And the mentoring helps a lot. They'll call us saying, I need money for books, or I need a ride to this thing. And we arrange it, we do it. And that we've had 100% success rate. We're so proud of.
Judy, before I go on to the next person, iPhone is actually one of my club members, Joanne Dorter. She can't speak because she's on her iPhone. So I told her to go ahead and try logging on. So if you see her, you can give her permission.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't check my
That's
phone.
okay.
for anything. So is there anything else out there? Any accelerator programs that aren't necessarily identified underneath DREAM programs? DREAM programs, for those that are new, are the Live Your Dream and the Dream It Be It. Yes, Amory.
Sorry, my kids are watching TV in the background. So can you guys hear that background noise right now?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. So the question was, just to reiterate, is how do we feel a connection with women and girls? Is that correct?
Yes, that you're doing in your club, right?
Okay. So what I just kind of wanted to add to that was, so I'm from SI Hanford. We have the mentorship with Live Your Dream. We've been doing that for quite a while. Our Dream It Be It is finally at a place where the program is set. So, and I have participated in both. I've been advisor of Dream It Be It. So I'm trying to kind of move on and try to just enhance what our club is doing. So what I'm working on now is within our membership and within our young membership, trying to start some kind of pathway or track for leadership development. So it's going to be brand new. I just pitched the idea to our membership committee maybe a month ago. So we're starting with our website for new members, and then we're working this year, hopefully working towards a plan to implement next year. So this year we'll be kind of working on what is this pathway going to be. It's going to be for, again, those young members within our group, because like I've said, our Live Your Dream is pretty well established. Our Dream It Be It is pretty well established. So how about we maybe focus some things on development within our organization and on our own women. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Any
So I just
questions?
wanted to add that that's something that we're trying to get going for our club.
Great.
Tana, you mentioned accelerator projects, and I have to go back to when I was SIA president. I fought so hard to get club scholarships to female students recognized as a worthwhile program. It should be counted. And it's just come to pass within the last year or so. Our club gives an additional $20,000 annually in high school female scholarship programs. We have 4 high schools in Watsonville, and we give at least $2,000 scholarship. This year we're raising it from $1,000 to $2,000. So each high school receives $4,000 total for 2 scholarships. And then we have a continuation high school adult ed that we also will provide those scholarships to. So that's an accelerator project. In addition to what many clubs do, is we don't just say hello to our Live Your Dream award winners and give them our award. Very often we're following up at Christmas with gift cards and holiday baskets and that kind of thing. And I'm sure many of the clubs do that as well. But
Right.
Yay for accelerator projects.
Yes. Thank you. Any else? Moving on. So Seroptimus International of the Americas, our federation, has looked, and they continue to, like Pat had just said, adapt, move on for our future. And they've developed the programs to sustain the developmental progress. As you can see, those 2 programs are the Live Your Dream and the Dream It Be It. So they've done the heavy lifting already for us. Has it evolved as well? Yes. Has it changed? Yes. In 1972, it started off as TAP, Training Award Program. Later in 1997, it morphed into WOA, Women's Opportunity Award. I love all these acronyms. And now in 2014 is when we finally saw what we have, the Live Your Dream. So it has adapted. It has then now included our accelerated programs to be recognized. To make sure that we continue to evolve, our newest edition was the Dream It Be It, and that was in 2015, reaching girls in hopes that we circumvent the challenges that impact them, like teen violence, how to overcome obstacles. The program is designed to set their goals for their education and career path in hopes that they head towards successes rather than become a victim of their own circumstance and prohibit seeing them as women who are later receiving our Live Your Dream Awards years later. Change is boosted primarily through our dream programs, but we have the other ways as mentioned in our previous discussion, and hopefully the theme that was resonated with us in our discussion was that they were women-focused and girl-focused programs. I often hear, this is all great information, but how do I do it? Well, it's by mentoring. It's by getting involved in your local politics even, having your voices heard. If there's a new ordinance, let's say as an example, that violates, harms, or impacts you, your voice is what I refer to as your weapon, and it's your weapon of choice. That means being active and being informed, and hopefully this gives you a foundation to start your first step. But it does begin with you, and it is necessary to ask the questions, do your research, discuss with your neighbors, your children's schools, your centers of influence, those that are in power. Write letters, call your local politicians, meet them for coffee, voice your concerns, and in turn, they're going to share with you theirs. Remember, it's always a two-way street. This too also relates to your role as a seroptimist. Be active. Focus on mission-driven programs that are involving our girls and women. Evaluate what projects can be partnered, just as Pat had discussed, with a program like Girls Inc. So this way, it frees up some of your time, the energy, the resources, then to focus on making another impact or a larger impact. We do not have to be the fix-all and do-it-all for our communities. If you focus on our dream programs, that's what's going to make the impact. For some, this message is not new. I think already starting as being a member of Seroptimist organization puts you on the right track. As indicated previously, they've already done the heavy lifting for us in the dream programs that were created. We are an international organization and we do have a global presence. Seroptimist International has built the relationships with the United Nations. We have representatives that serve, and they are also involved and have power through the CSW, which stands for the Commission on Status of Women. And most importantly, they're at the table when drafting the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. I want to take this time to encourage you to partake in the future courses that are offered in our global tract. So I won't go into too much detail. I just want to reference that it's a huge impact and bearing on Seroptimist's role when it comes to the women's rights, ensuring that our voice is heard at the political dialogue, empowerment, and continual change as it pertains to women and girls. So as I indicated that we do have a global presence, our global impact does start with Seroptimist International, under which we have 5 federations. Some of them are slightly different and some are very similar. So let's look at what we call SIGB, which is Seroptimist International, Great Britain and Ireland. They will transform the lives of status of women and girls through education, empowerment, and enabling opportunities. Their current focus is to implement projects which work toward achievement of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, those SDGs. And they do this through projects and working with partnerships with others at home and abroad. Their projects range from supporting local charities, women refugees, to those at their country and international levels within their federation. In the UK, they have a UK Program Action Committee, UK PAC, to which all UK regions based in the UK, such as Women in Prisons projects in conjunction with the Prison Reform Trust. More recently, the working on empowering legal protection for survivors of domestic abuse through their domestic abuse bill. Did I freeze? SIE, Seroptimus of Europe. They educate, empower, and enable through education sustainability, health and food security, violence against women, and women's empowerment. They have a strong alliance with UNICEF and United Nations and concerted action against domestic violence, along with many other programs and projects. SISEAP, which is the Seroptimus International of Southeast Asia Pacific. They educate, empower, and enable through areas of projects of excellence, federation projects like Sanctuary Shelter for Women, Birthing in the Pacific Island, and in addition, there's their disaster response to educational scholarships. They will also promote equity, economic, which is through their micro business loan opportunities and training, enterprise, environmental projects. The environment and global change is high on their radar, as it is for many of our international federations, becoming agents for a change to transform communities and their cities in sustainable future. They also have a brilliant futures fund. This will fund up to $10,000 to deliver a project. The project must have a strong educational focus. And then our last and newest federation, it was inaugurated in June of 2020, which is the Seroptimus International of the Africa Federation. They will help women through different projects: education, financial empowerment, sustainable environment, food, health security, fight against violence and advocacy. Their main hands-on project, they align themselves with their cervical cancer elimination campaign. They join forces with the UN Health for Life to join action. And this was something new, and we heard this when we were in Ireland, is Africa is the highest continent with 320 women every day hearing the words, "You have cervical cancer." It's the second most highly diagnosed cancer, and it is the second leading cause of cancer of death in Africa. Each year in Africa, some 77,000 women lose their lives needlessly to this invisible disease, and the number is rising. So I can kind of see why they had such a large impact in regards to their project. So what is SIA, Seroptimus International of the Americas impact, and why is our impact measured and vital? By a show of hands, who remembers the time when we heard, I think it was Governor Pat Jones, discuss with us our collective impact? That message was delivered, and I think some of the audience was answering, you know, how many times it was said. Charlie, you have your hand up. Did you have a question, Charlie? No?
It looks like she was trying to talk, but something happened.
Okay.
So you asked us to raise our hands if we remembered.
Oh, I thought I was going to see it visually. I'm sorry. I'm seeing the screen, so I'm sorry. But yes, thank you, Charlie. The focus was one mission: women and girls educational empowerment. If we don't focus on that, what happens is we dilute our meaning as an organization and the significance of our work. Our reports that SIA requests after our Live Your Dream and Dream It Be It events are usually, and or our accelerator projects, give SIA the data that can be used given the credence that's needed at the United Nations. How or why? Because this data, it is collected and our outcomes are all measured. As you can see, some of that information that's there on the infographics. Of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals and the 169 targets, our DREAM programs directly support 5 of the 12 targets. And I know you can probably see there what indicates the indicators. One of the goals is to end poverty in all forms and everywhere, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education, and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls, promote, sustain inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all, reduce inequality within amongst our countries. So as you can see, there is a larger scope. When the United Nations discusses poverty, guess what? Our delegates have the status that measures if you invest in a woman's education, you change her poverty level, thus improving her life skills, not only for her, but for her family and her community. Collectively, amongst all of our clubs in our region and throughout the world, we are the asset and the key to the vital information that is needed. Our programs can be measured. They do prove that there is a direct impact and a direct correlation. I was on our Federation call last night, and they had given us the statistics that have since 2021, we have provided and invested in the lives of 58,000 women and girls, which is 12% of our 500,000 women and girls that we wanted to reach by 2035. As we gain momentum, I would hope that that percentage will continue to escalate. So we have the statistics that track with your help and your assistance. The infographics are a collection of our work and our measurable outcomes. As a note, I'm going to put on my Federation fundraising chair hat. I encourage you also to use these infographics and the information and the data when you're speaking to any of your corporate funding opportunities. I think that people are not reluctant to give. The reluctancy they have is, what are they giving to? What are their contributions going to be used for? And where is their bang for their buck? Can you illustrate the impact and level of importance of our DREAM programs in local communities? Yes. How did it change the life of, was it Lidchan Tan from SI San Francisco?
Yep.
Or Ashley Cook from SI Modesto, who were just 2 of the 4 Live Your Dream recipients? Did you know that SIA also reaches out to them and all of our winners 3 years after receiving their award and collects further data on their lives? They were changed, and the impact that was made by your club gift, in addition to the region award that they received. So it doesn't end there. So we need to collectively share the same message and believe in our mission statement. It needs to have significance in our projects and what we dedicate our time to. So how does the Sierra Pacific region measure up? Any guesses?
We're amazing.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we lead.
Well, I know we're really, really high up on Live Your Dream, and especially given the size of our region, we're doing really, really well.
This last year, we had 30 of our 31 clubs participate in Live Your Dream. And normally, and in history and years back, we've always hit 100%. Our Dream It Be It participation is 14 clubs, have active programs, and 5 clubs received recognition for their big accelerator projects. Is there room for improvement? Of course. I'm not here to point out any club's shortcomings, just a visualization. of the level of importance of our growth that is needed for Dream It, Be It, and why it's so important. Is it easier to ask, or is it an easier ask to give an award or 2 or 3 to our Live Your Dream candidates? We have an application, it gets judged, you have a lunch or a banquet to celebrate, you give them a check, program is achieved, it's successful. You follow up, you give them a card at Christmas, and you go through the mentoring. But there's a little bit more work when it comes to the Dream It, Be It program, isn't there? How do you evolve and adapt this program into your club? Where are your resources to create a program? It is a visible partner with another club or another organization. Again, there's another leadership track that's going to review all of the twos of how your club, Ray. Excuse me. The program modules have already been prepared and you're halfway there. Remember, when I mentioned earlier, people ask me, how does this relate to me? How do I do it? How do I make the difference? How many of you feel, and I'm just that one person? Again, just like what Pat had indicated, just 2 people showed up for her Dream It, Be It. It was successful. They partnered. But you have to be active. You have to think outside of the box. You must be driven, but what's more important is you have to get engaged. I mentioned this so we can increase our region impact. How can we continue to empower women in a changing world? It requires change. It requires adaptability toward our dream programs. And this is going to start with you, me, us, my club, your club, and then all of the regions in SIA. It's part of all of us. Do you know that not all clubs in each region in SIA is even close to 100% in their Live Your Dream? And it's been here since 1972. So our traction will get there. It's just not us. We all have to pick up the torch, shine the light on all of our programs. So, does anybody have any questions for me as far as infographics? I'll go through and I'll stop my screen sharing here in a bit and I can show you where you can get those. I don't know if you have any other questions for me in regards to our global impact. How does it continue to shape? How does it continue to model what our clubs are trying to do as far as successful opportunities for us? I'll open it up to the floor.
I have a comment.
Sure.
I think it's a question. I think several of us here on this call were at the recent SI convention, and definitely a theme, as we learned from the different federations, was this kind of global feeling that progress in terms of gender equality has been set back for whatever reasons. Part of that made me feel a little bit better that it wasn't just our country, but that sounds really stupid, right? Because obviously that's not a good thing. But I thought it was interesting, not having a kind of general knowledge of what's happening in the world, but not a super specific knowledge at all times, that other countries are feeling the same way. And the question came up several times, why? And many reasons, but one reason that I heard more than once was sometimes we destroy each other. When you get into that really maybe high leadership position and you're the woman that's made it, does for some people become that sense of, I'm the one. and the kind of maybe subconscious, not knowing, this kind of unwillingness to share the platform, if you will, which I thought was a really interesting take. And I can certainly think of circumstances where I've seen that happen. And so, caution for us to be aware of when we maybe are unknowingly in our efforts to to empower are inadvertently stepping on other women's toes. I just, that was a big takeaway for me, the convention. And one of the reasons I really wanted to go into more depth on this topic, because, you know, we know, like in third world countries and in other places, that women can't go to school and drive. I mean, that's knowledge. And yet we can do what we can do in our country. And we have the same, we have maybe not those issues, but we have other issues that are holding women back, which is why our work is so important. And even though we can look and say there are bigger problems for women's equality in the world than what we're seeing, we certainly have them. And there's enough to work on that we don't need to feel like our issues aren't as important as other countries that are further behind than we are.
Right. And I believe that sense of, you hear a lot, if you're not invited to the table, bring your own chair.
Mhm.
And it's a matter of mentoring. It's a matter of sharing the information. And I think it has to be something that we are willing as women to also model that for the candidates that we work with our students that we work with the young girls that are in programs that we're working with. Simply because if again, they're not taught that, if it's not an open discussion, if it's something that can't be shared, then how do we feel safe? And I think that's something that, because, and I've often thought about this, don't men go through that too? They're vying for that one position in the corporate office. And I'm sure there might have a little bit of, you know, cutthroat, a little bit of discretion, a little bit of, you know, undermining, you know, whatever goes on in the boardroom. I don't think it's unique. It's just that we're starting to now enter into that element of power of a voice. And we forget that we can be inclusive. And I think if you can share that information, it's something that, yes, you might be the only one invited to the table, but if you share all that you've learned with everyone else in your centers of influence, we're going to make it a larger table. Just as I said earlier on, we didn't have the ability to own property. We didn't have the ability to vote. In 1977 is what blew my mind, is you couldn't have your own personal checking account. We have evolved, we have changed, just like you're saying now in your discussion, is how do we continue that progression? Do we have a setback? Yes. Do we learn from it? Just like what we need to do in our programs. That's the key. Yes.
Tana, I have a comment real quick. I did a presentation for a businesswomen's organization and found a study, I believe it was in Harvard, that found that businesswomen who were the most successful formed their own mentoring groups. That the men kind of, we have this impression the men stick together and they go play baseball together or watch it or drink at the bar or something. But for women, and women aren't really included, they're not things that we're necessarily, some of us, Charlie, are very interested in. But the women that formed their own mentoring, even if it was only one person, were the most successful because they were sharing the information of what worked and what didn't work. And it was a safe place to say this happened or that happened. And
that's what our recipients of our awards and our young girls that are receiving the benefits of our programs are saying, is that I have a cheerleader in my corner. I have somebody that I have a role model that I can look up to. And that's really important because they can identify with, oh, this person has been able to achieve it, so can I. So good point. Any others? Okay.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I want to say I'm a new member. My name is Mary Grizzle.
Welcome, Mary.
Welcome, Mary.
Thank you. I am in awe of this organization. When I joined because I loved the classy bag affair.
Okay.
And I didn't realize, I mean, I knew you guys did a lot of stuff that was good for the community and for the community here. I had no idea what I was getting into. I'm amazed. I'm just amazed. I'm in awe of all of you.
Well, thank you, Mary. And let me ask you a question. And do you know other women who can bring other women into the organization just like you, and together now have a larger community that is going to serve more women and girls? I think
I
that's,
know a lot of people, so I can probably, truthfully, I can say I probably could get some women together.
and that's what I was saying. We have a voice. You have knowledge, you have power. There's been so much that Seroptimus International of the Americas has designed for us. We don't have to go and create it. It's already been provided for us. We add our own spin to it. They're not saying that this is how you have to do it and put it in a box and there's no other way that you can do it. But we need women like you. We need to continue to grow. I think when I was membership chair, they said for every club in every community, you will help 15 women and girls in your community. So why aren't we popping up like Starbucks? Right? But invite your friends. Invite those
definitely
people
will.
that you know that are centers of influence. Invite a principal of a school. Invite somebody that might be a local politician. We just had our district attorney come and speak to us. Bring them, invite them, expose them to our organization. You have power. You have a center of influence that is different than the other members that are already existing in the club. So welcome.
Thank you very much. I feel so inadequate though, because I'm just beginning, but I've also got to look at my age. I'm 81 years old.
You're 81 years young.
What was your profession, Mary? What was your profession?
I've worked in the legal system for a long, long time. Did that. And then the last 20 years, I retired from the county of San Mateo.
Okay.
So
So you are a role
you have
model for a
any
lot of young
children?
women that want to go to law school or get
Yeah.
into the legal profession outside of being a lawyer.
it's absolutely.
Any nieces,
Absolutely.
any daughters, any daughter-in-laws?
I would like to get, my goal, I think, is to get more young people, more young mothers involved. Because I think this would help them with their kids and the future of their kids.
Good. It's not too
So-
late. Yes. Invite them, invite them.
I'll see what I can do.
I'm going to stop my screen sharing and I'm going to go to our website and kind of give you ladies where you can find, oh, I need to close this one out. Okay, and I'm going to do another new one and I'm going to go here, I think.
Tana, I just wanted to comment, this is Gail, that with their Zoom, maybe clubs can try and allow young mothers who can't come to a meeting in person for a period of time, can come in on Zoom and still fulfill the membership requirements, don't you think?
Yes, definitely. And just depends on, when that club can facilitate that. I know some of them where their meeting may not have access to Wi-Fi. They just kind of have to create when is a good time for a member that is, a young parent, or ours is kind of like sometimes with teachers, they're in school. So we invite them to the board meeting because that's when we have it in the evening. So you just kind of have to do a survey, do a poll, and see when is that going to be beneficial to a sector that you're trying to reach. And we are guilt-free. We should be saying that we want you to come and you can participate on all the other events that we have available. It's not like you have a meeting criteria anymore that you have to make, 90% of your meetings. So it works to our advantage these days. So can you see the new screen that I populated with our website?
Yes.
Okay, so when you come in, you're over here under this clubs and member material or tab bar, and then you're going to go into program resources, and this is the page that's up. So you're going to scroll down and you start seeing that there are your Live Your Dream at Be It, all these, and again, the accelerator program. So let's go in and let's go see the Live Your Dreams. And here are your resources. Now you're going to say, I want to take a look at the research and impact. Research and impact is then going to give us those pretty little infographics.
Nice.
Yes, they're important for us to use. They are a powerful tool. We do want to make sure that you utilize what we have available to us. Okay, let me go back. Stop sharing. Here we are. Put my video on and I'm back. So I hope anyhow that I have been able to demonstrate how we can continue to empower the women in a changing world. How can we adapt and how it correlates to the success of all of our dream programs. I want to say thank you to Governor Charlie and Governor-elect Judy for inviting me tonight, for having the forewithal to put these programs together for all of us to learn, from us to share ideas. They're all impactful. I do appreciate the hard work that goes into this. And if anyone has any further questions, we've got a few more minutes to chat. If not.
Tina, I thought your presentation excellent. Your visuals, very, very good.
Thank you, Gloria.
A couple of comments, if I may.
Yes.
And I was trying to capture notes. I didn't want to interrupt you. You made the comment about if you're not at the table or invited to the table to bring your own chair. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I also embrace is that if someone's not at the table and they're not able to bring a chair, that I personally feel it's a responsibility for the person that is at the table to talk them up. Because that's what men do. You know, they'll talk about this person and people want to go out and find out. So my thing is to embrace also those people that you really are seeing doing great things, to talk them up, to talk about them, do those, let people know the type of positivity that they bring. In terms of, what else can we do? I think that we all have to be mindful as we age out. Some of you probably heard me say I'm the new 45. My son is 47. So, but, it's a mindset that also other women will embrace. And it's like, judgment free, that's a great term. But in terms of some of the other things, when we want to look for other women, maybe we should also look at affinity groups. High schools are now starting, they have affinity groups. And so that might be a way to look at it. And I know that colleges do as well. And that may be another resource of reaching out to these women. But that I was saying, if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got. And so sometimes we have to think about if I'm, 70 and I want to do ballroom dancing, and the women in my group are in their 20s, 25, 30, and they may, we have to think about what are some of those other things that would draw them in and maybe change up how we do some things. But those are just a couple of points, but I want to say thank you for excellent, excellent presentation.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Gloria. And hopefully, with what you give us back in this information, we improve upon it. We can add to it. Your district meetings are around the corner. Let your region director know exactly where you need help. Pat, if you want somebody to attend, I would hand over fist go to a Girls Inc. presentation that is doing our modeling. I can learn from that and I can bring that to our club. You know, and that's kind of like how we should be looking at each other. What's working for you and your club? Can I visit? Can I participate? Can we help each other? I know when we did our first Dream It Be It, I think Gail came and she spoke to the crowd about being a judge. I had Lynette Granderson, who is a pediatrician, come and she presented. So we need to utilize each other. And I think, again, that allows us to grow. It allows us to add strength to our communities and our clubs.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So put me on your invitation list.
Will do.
Anything else, ladies? Mary, I think you were saying that you would love to have certain people come, especially the younger ones. Amory, I want you to give a wave. She's probably one of our younger members on the line. I think we've got Kendra as well. She's just our newest Superior Court judge here in Kings County. And I think we're trying, as Amory indicated, to again develop another horizon. It never ends. We only can get better. We'll learn from each other.
Right. Well, thank you, Tana, so much. This has been a wonderful presentation. If you never attend another one, you will have left learning a lot that I hope you will attend more. This was just a great introduction to what more exciting topics for the year on this area. Next up in our global arena is presentation from Sharon Fisher, who's a past president of Seroptimist International. And she will be talking about more in depth about the Seroptimist relationship with the United Nations, which I'm personally excited to hear from her on that topic. So hope to see you there and at other workshops on other tracks. And thank you all for being here. And thank you again, Tana, for so much work in putting into this and leading us tonight. Really greatly appreciated.
Thank you for the ask.
Anytime.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.